Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and peace be upon you this morning. So, in this video, we are going to learn how to configure static routing using Cisco Packet Tracer. So, we've started on routing protocols, and the first routing protocol that we're going to handle is static routing. So, before we go further, I'll open our Google spreadsheet. I'll let you know that today we are in number 9, part 1, static routing. Very important and very simple. We've started on our routing protocols. So in routing protocol categories, we have static and dynamic. In static routing protocols, we have the normal static, we have backup or floating static routes. Then finally, we have what's called default routes or default static routing. Okay. Alright, then in dynamic routing protocols, we have protocols like OSPF, EIGRP, RIP or RIP, BGP, IS, etc. Okay, so in this video, we're going to start on static routing, which is a very basic and very simple, very important type of routing protocol. You can't omit this in every network configuration. Very simple. So let's open our notepad to highlight the step that we are going to follow to achieve this objective. So open our notepad. The first step is always to draw the necessary topology, decorate, and comment. So you can see I drew this simple topology using how many routers? 4 routers to demonstrate a static routing better. Okay, we have a Kenya LAN on the left side, India LAN on the right side. Then between the LANs, we have several routers or several paths. For example, this is a Kenyan router, this is England router, then we come to Pakistani router, and finally to the Indian router. Okay, so we want our traffic to come from a Kenya LAN through the Kenya router to England router to Pakistani router, then to Indian router that will take it to the respective LAN. Okay, all right, so make sure you use 2911 router. Okay, all right, so you can see the comments here. The network between Kenya router and England is this one, England Pakistan is this one, Pakistan India is this one, Indian LAN is this one, and finally Kenyan LAN is this one. Okay, all right, so let's go. The second step says that we should configure IP addresses to the routers and the host. So guys, this is very important because if you don't configure the right IP address, you won't achieve any communication. So based on my comments, I'm going to use this network between this router and this router. So let's say gig 00 on router, on Kenyan router, should take 10.10.1/30. /30 notation is equivalent to 255.255.255.252. Then gig 01 on England router should take 10.10.10.2, and the same will apply here. Okay, alright, so I'll do that on very fast to save time. Okay, so guys, basically I've done the configuration of IP address on the routers. Okay, so I'll do that the same on the host computers. So remember, on the host computers, they will take this network and their default gateway should be the IP address of the respective connected routers interface. So for example, Kenya LAN, the default gateway of these computers should be IP address of this interface. The same applies to Indian LAN. The default gateway will be the IP address of this interface, which is 20.1. Here is 10.1. Okay, so just go to these computers and configure them very fast to save time. Good, so I've done the IP addressing both on the routers and those computers. I go back to our Google Notepad, configure, forward and backward static routes from Kenya to India LAN. So we have to configure the forward and backward static routes from Kenya to India. Why do I call them backward and forward and backward? Remember, when you configure a route to go to a destination, you don't guarantee it to come back. You have to specify a path through which the same route will come back to the source. So when you tell it to go, then you have to give it a path through which it will come back to you. So when it goes through the forward route. Then you have to give it the backward path through which it will come back to the destination. So let's start configuring static route on Kenyan route and tell it the forward route or the forward path. So we have notes here. Make sure to configure forward route to use the outgoing router interface. Good. So let me explain this one. I'll click on the router, exit. How do we configure static route? We just write a simple command, IP route. Then we give the destination. Where do we want the traffic to go to? We want that traffic. Where is our target? Our target is Indian LAN, and the Indian LAN has which address 192.168.20.0 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. So we found that this is our target. So how do we want any traffic to reach this reach this target? We want that traffic to leave through which interface? It's explained here. Make sure to use the forward to configure forward route to use the outgoing router interface. So we want any traffic going to Indian LAN to leave through which interface? This one, the outgoing. Okay. We want any traffic going to India to pass through this interface, which is gig 00. So very simple. We just say gig 00. So any traffic going to India must pass here. Okay. That's all. You'll find a warning here which will not affect us this time, and I will let you know the right way to do a static route. Okay, this is also the right way, but we normally have a limitation when we go to advanced configuration. Okay, all right. So we've configured static route here, and our traffic has left through this interface. Now our traffic is here. So we must tell this router that we want to reach Indian LAN. So if we want to reach Indian LAN, so that traffic should leave through this interface. The same thing. Very simple. So we go there and I'll just say IP route, and I will copy the Indian LAN thing, this one, and I copy here, close this one, come back to England PC and I paste. So if I want to reach Indian LAN, then that traffic should leave through which interface? Gig 00 still. Gig 0/0, and we hit enter. So the traffic has now reached here. So we have to tell this guy that we want to reach India. So forward that traffic through which interface? Which one is gig 00 still. So we just go here and see IP route to Indian LAN. Okay, leave through gig 0/0 and hit enter. That's all. Now the traffic has reached here. When the traffic has reached here, the router knows that the Indian LAN is directly connected to it, so it will forward it directly. But the traffic has reached here. How will the traffic go back? We have to specify ways through which the traffic will go back. Very simple. Okay, so we start from this router. Going back, we reached here when we were configuring forward path. We didn't configure forward path here because it's directly connected to our destination. So we have to go back. So when we're going back, we start from Indian router. So let's click Indian router and say IP route. So the traffic is going back to Kenya, and the Kenya has which LAN? 10.0. It has 10.0. So we're telling Indian router that when we want to reach Kenyan land, then the traffic should go through which inter. Oops, let me read it again. We have second statement here. Make sure to configure backward route to use the IP address of the next hop. So whenever we want to go back to Kenya from this router, all that traffic should be forwarded to the IP address of the next hop. IP address of the next hop of this router is IP address of this interface, which is gig 00 on Pakistani router. Is the IP address of the next hop from India. This router is the next hop of Indian router. So IP address of the next hop next hop is this one. Next hop interface is IP address of gig 00. So IP address of gig 00 on there is 30.30.31. So we just say go through 30.30.30.1 and we hit enter. You can see now we don't get that error that we were getting previously. Remember when we were doing the normal this way, using the outgoing interface, we were getting this error. But now we've done using the next hop IP address, we can't get that error. Okay, all right. So the traffic has come back from Indian land and now is on the Pakistani soil. So we must tell the Pakistani router that forward that traffic to this guy here. So the same thing applies there. So I'll copy something like this. Copy. I close that one. Then I come to Pakistani, and I tell it when we want to go back to Kenya, then forward that traffic to the IP address of the next hop, which is this router. Now the next hop would be this interface, which is directly connected to Pakistani router. So the IP address of this interface of 00 gig 00 is 20.20.21 20.20.20.1 and we hit enter. You can see we don't get that error again because we are using the IP address of the next hop. Good. So the traffic has reached here. So we must tell that traffic that you have to reach the Kenyan router. Once the Kenyan router has received that traffic, now we don't care. Okay. All right. So let's do the same here. I paste that, and now we use the IP address of the next hop, which is the IP address of this interface. Gig 00 here is 10.10.10.1. Very simple. So we just say 10.10.10.1 and hit enter. That's all about static routing. That's all about static routing. So let's go back to our notepad. Test communication from Kenya to India, trace route the path. So we are going to test communication from Kenya land to India. So I'll go to any, let me check on this side. That's 20.30 and this is 10.20. So I'm just going to try to ping 102.168.20.30. You just have to give it some time. This is a static route. So when it fails the first time, we're going to try again for the second time. So let us watch it. So guys, you can see the first time I tried to ping it, always unsuccessful. But now for the second time, it's successful. Now let me try to ping from this one. Ping 102.168.10.30. Just have to give it some time. The first time might always fail, but second time it will be successful. So meanwhile, when we were waiting that to ping, let's go back to the same router and try to trace route. Trace route is used to determine the path through the traffic follows to the destination. So just say trace route 102.168.20.30. So you can see it alerts all the routers in the path. The first one is the default gateway, the IP address of this interface. The second one is the next hop, the IP address of this router. The third one is also the next hop of this router, which is the IP address of this interface. The fourth one is also the next hop of this router, which is the IP address of this interface. And finally, we go to the destination, which is 20.30. I was trying to ping It's all fine. Let me try to ping again. As you can see, it's now pinging. So guys, I believe this video has really helped you now to configure static routing. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share with friends, and drop a comment below in case of doubts.